Hey guys, it's M4J here and welcome back to the M4J network here on OpenTTD. This is episode 16.5. Welcome to the rebuilding of St. Mark. This is something that I've been promising for a long time now actually. Rebuilding all these southern approaches to Guard City St. Mark as part of the Realism Initiative and also as part of just needing to fix everything that was broken in this part of the network. You will see big changes happening in this episode. Those of you who have been watching the series so far, you will already have seen the result, especially if you watched the live stream on Thursday. You will have seen what this looks like when completed. Those of you that are new to the channel or missed that stream or the previous episodes, you're going to be in for a bit of a shock because pretty much everything you see on the screen right now will look different by the time this time-lapse is finished. So the station you see at the bottom center of the screen there is Stillington Overground. That station is actually staying as it is. There are no additional platforms, no changes, nothing like that. New Rennington, which is up in the top right corner at the moment, to the northeast of where we are looking at this present time. That will be completely different by the end. All the overground platforms will have moved slightly to the east. The approaches from the lines to the south will also be different, and the lines coming out to the east will also be different. You could just see New Rennington on the right hand side of the screen there. Guard City St. Mark itself, there are two new platforms that have been built. They are not part of the terminating station. In fact, you can see where the site for those platforms is, and overall it works really well. Having the overground loop be served, having the overground loop serve Guard City St. Mark was a very wise decision in the end, because apart from St. John and St. Michael, St. Mark was the only main station that wasn't served by the overground. And eventually, I'm kind of waiting for a little patch to be added to this version of the game. Whether it will be added or not, I don't actually know at this time, but part of my future plans do kind of rely on it being added. But there is a patch currently in development that allows you to build bridges over station platforms. And the reason I'm waiting for that, excuse me, frog in the throat, where the overground loop crosses over Guard City St. Peter and Guard City St. Michael, currently there are platforms at St. Peter. But I want to reconfigure the lines there so that it will also serve St. Michael and actually have the platforms closer to the two stations that they're supposed to be serving. St. John will not be having that treatment because Brendington Indigo Junction is the major interchange between the Great Eastern and the Overground, so that's fine. But actually GSJ does have overground platforms, thinking about it, but the line only goes through GST, Guard City St. Thomas. Guard City St. Thomas and Guard City St. Christopher are overground only stations. Guard City St. George has a huge section devoted to the overground. That's my phone buzzing. Not sure why. But yeah, the overground is becoming more and more improved, I suppose is the right word. You can see here New Rennington is currently getting rebuilt. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what's happening here, and then I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let the music take over for the rest of the episode. So New Rennington now has 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11 platforms, I think I can see there. It might be 12, I'm not 100% sure. There will be 2 additional platforms added, so it will either be 13 or 14, depending on whether there was 11 or 12 to begin with. Out of those, 5 platforms or 6 platforms are on the line that I can't remember the name of, that runs down towards Bar City, Cadenbury Junction, places like that. They are currently the southernmost platforms that you see on the screen there. For those of you that don't know, north is to the top left of the screen, south is to the bottom right, and then east and west are obviously where east and west are. The northernmost platforms at New Rennington, the 6 that you see on the screen there, they are overground only platforms. So all trains that call there will be operating Guard City overground services. There will be a junction slightly to the northeast of the station, which you will see me build at the end of this episode, plus all the lines that come out to the west of the station. The northernmost go to Guard City St. Mark on the overground loop. The centermost go to... actually, the 4 platforms, the 4 northernmost, go to guard City St Mark on the overground loop, and then the 2 directly south of that go to Funingley North, Funingley South, and then Shoreham Junction, which are all to the southeast of the site. This was a massive project. This was a huge project. It was the bit that I was dreading most, actually, about this, and yet after I finished it, the bit I was dreading most was Fort Flonwood Central. And rebuilding all of that. But for those of you that missed the live stream on Thursday, we actually rebuilt the northern approaches to Fort Flonwood Central. I'm currently waiting on some designs for Fort Flonwood Parkway before we can get on with that, but it is now possible to run terminating services between Guard City and Fort Flonwood again, which is good news. I do still need to do the speed limit sheets and then the service schedule sheets. That all needs to be done still. And something else that I've also been putting off for the last however long is the station codes, the 3-letter station codes that I keep saying will be done, and then for various reasons they're not done. I will get those done. I might even do a dedicated stream where we go through all the stations and come up with different codes. Thursdays might end up being stream days. Now I've actually tried out YouTube streaming service. It's probably not as fluid as Twitch is, but I do like it. So I think if the demand is there, I will definitely do more YouTube live streams in the time slot that OpenTTD normally goes out. So that's 8 PM UK time. I can't translate that into times all over the world. I think, actually I'm not even going to guess because I'll probably get it wrong. But 8 PM UK time, the time that these videos normally get published on Thursdays, will be the time that I will stream instead. It will start bang on the hour. Now I know how that actually works, because the one we did before, it started a little bit late because I couldn't work out how to start the stream. That's been fixed now. And it will be me for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, working on the network, talking to you guys, sharing rail news, sharing ideas about the series, talking about the series in general if anyone has any questions. It's kind of going to replace the premieres that I was doing, because the premieres, it was just kind of me typing in the chat, replying to people's questions, and it's fine doing that, but sometimes the sync wasn't quite right and people weren't always watching it live, which meant they were asking questions about things that happened sort of 10 minutes prior, and I couldn't remember what happened 10 minutes prior. It sort of fell down a little bit. Whereas streaming it live, people can ask a question, it appears on the screen in the chat, and I can answer it vocally so that everyone knows what's going on. There is still small delays. I think it's like a 2-minute delay the last time I streamed. That might be because the connection was a little bit slow, I'm not 100% sure, but it worked quite well. We had 1 viewer. I would like to see that increase. It was a little bit last minute, the announcement, so I can understand why that might have been, but overall it was an enjoyable experience, so it's one that I would like to at least test out a second time and see if we can make it a little bit more popular. Those of you that aren't fans of live streams, treat it as a video, but I can actually talk to you live as I'm playing. That's basically what live streams are anyway, but I know some people aren't huge fans of particularly having to go over to Twitch and setting up a Twitch account in order to chat. You don't have to do that now, you just have a YouTube account, so treat it like the comment section on a video, although be nice, don't be like you were before in the comment sections of videos, because that's not very nice. But yeah, I'm not going to end it negatively. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what you're seeing on screen right here, and then we're going to start wrapping things up and letting the music take over. So, New Redington has now been built. You can see the line arrangement to the west and to the south. That's all done. I think pretty much everything that you see that I've built there is exactly how it is in my game currently. The northeastern side, which you can see me just about to start building here towards GST, I think there have been some minor tweaks since I built this, mainly to make the corners a little easier to navigate. All the speed limits for the overground and all the service schedules for the overground have now been done. I think all the service schedules have. I know I've done a few of them. Those that I haven't done, I will be finishing off. Thursday's episode, I haven't actually decided what we're going to be doing. I kind of want to finish off rebuilding Fort Flonwood, because we did the Dinstown branch, we didn't do the Tadham branch, so that kind of needs to be done. But besides that, I was thinking about putting some overground services in, but it takes a long time to actually schedule the trains. So we will see about that. But overall, really happy with how this has turned out. The rebuild has worked out really nicely. We've got lots of new connections that we didn't have before. There are some old connections that don't exist anymore, which is one of the sort of downsides to this massive rebuild and trying to build things as realistically as possible, is we do end up in a scenario where certain junctions couldn't be built with the realism initiative in mind. So that was a little bit of a shame, but it's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. As you can see, the lines to GST have been doubled, so there were previously 2 and now there are 4. 2 of them go through to New Rennington and onto the overground loop, as well as also connecting to Funingley North on the eastern side. Again, you'll see me build that in a second. The other 2 lines actually connect to the new platforms that I was talking about earlier on at New Rennington, and will form a brand new overground branch that hasn't been built yet. Once that has been built, we'll be able to do speed limits and all that kind of thing. It's obviously easier to build new routes because I can build them to the standards that I have set for all the other routes, whereas rebuilding routes, it can be a little bit tricky at times. And as you can see here, the 4 lines down to 2 as we head up towards Fredwood Farms, that's all been completed and is functional as well. Obviously this was all built before the tutorial that I did, was it 15.5? Might have been 14.5, the signaling and scheduling, not signaling, timetabling and scheduling. I can't get my words out today, I don't know what's wrong with me. Timetabling and scheduling tutorial, which was the overground loop was used as the test bed for that. So obviously this was all built before that, and the overground services are working pretty nicely, if I do say so myself. Trains aren't quite evenly spaced yet. I think they need a couple more cycles for that to be the case. But overall, really happy. So I'm going to let the music take over now, just as you can see me build the new platforms here at GSMA. I was originally going to destroy all the buildings you see there, but I ended up keeping a lot of it and building bridges over the top. The bus routes, I don't think there are bus routes here at the moment, so they weren't affected. But yeah, music's going to take over now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series. Head over to my Reddit community. You can always drop comments down below the video, or you can go over to the OpenTTD community, find the post with this video and drop some comments down below that one as well. I would prefer it if you use my Reddit community because that's what it's for, but either or is acceptable. If you have any designs still for Fort Flonwood Parkway, I'm not building that station until I have as many designs as possible, so it's an open window essentially. You can submit as many designs as you like, there's no limit. As long as you kind of let me know that you're working on something so I don't accidentally close the competition whilst you guys are still trying to enter, that's all fine. The winner will be, I say the winner, the preferred option will be selected. Sometimes I might combine some ideas together, you know how I do things. Don't be offended if I combine your idea with someone else's, it's because they were both too good to turn down essentially. But yeah, thank you for watching, hit the like button, share the video as well if you want to, drop some comments down below on Reddit. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Tell everyone you know about these videos. Let's try and get to 1,000 subs by probably the middle of this year. That would be ideal. But yeah, we'll play that one as it comes. Thank you very much once again everyone for watching, and until next time, I will see you soon.